there for him to be in that weight class. They need to calibrate them scales. We don't know how he makes that weight, all stuff. There is some kind of trickery going on in boxing that nobody wants to talk about.
Who he had beaten once before in a controversial fight where Zoo was bleeding very badly, and before he fought him in a rematch, Zoo had been knocked out. So he beats Zoo, and then he beats, Thurman, who's been very inactive, moved up in weight, and was a huge underdog for those reasons.
Do you want to be undisputed, or what's your ultimate goal in the ring?
There was an idea of becoming undisputed at one time, but as of right now, it's so much politics. Look with the WB. I was already unified champion, but all these things that don't line up with us, you can't. It's a business as well. So if you're not going to work with me, I can't really work with you either. So
boxing insiders have accused Sebastian Fundora of using unfair tactics in his fight against Keith Thurman. Rolando Romero strongly believes that Fundora does not belong in this weight division. He claims there are hidden tricks in boxing that many people are afraid to talk about, and this has created a heated debate all over the sport.
Think about the sustained beatings that he passes out. When he fights, it's the way he gets on top of people and just destroys them.
Man, he over there trying to chop everybody's head off. I'm telling you like this, man. I sit there, man. I just look. I'm like, there's no way. Like you gotta go over there and just like boom, right on the top like that, right? Hope for the best,
A fan on X openly criticized Fundora and said, "Fundora is like an unfair cheat code. If every fighter at 154 pounds avoided him, I would understand them. He should not be allowed to fight in this weight class because of his height," which started a big discussion in boxing circles. Keith Thurman's face was badly injured during the fight, and this led to questions from some fans who felt that normal boxing gloves and regular punching power should not cause such severe damage. Because of this, some people started suspecting that Fundora's gloves might have been altered or tampered with. Even after the injury, Keith Thurman was not happy with the referee's decision to stop the fight.
Has that conditioning, he's a volume puncher, and I think it's just that little bit of a press that he was putting on that, let that referee feel, the way that he felt to jump in. But, he was pressing, he was opening up, he was starting to throw wide. And that's where, the veteran has an opportunity to shine. I'm telling you, man, the fans were loving it. The action was getting real. There was no need to just stop it right then and right there, but, once again, I'm not that beat up. I can fight more, and we'll see what happens, man. But it was a good fight. I wanted a great fight, and I think if it went just a few more minutes, something great would happen. Or maybe I would have got dropped, and then, at the end of the day, I can accept.
Reports suggest that Fundora is not fully chasing undisputed champion status. It is believed that he feels other boxing organizations may not support or protect him the way the WBC does. Because of this, he is staying focused on the WBC, valuing its support more than trying to collect all major titles.
I'm comfy with the WBC. I still think I'm recognized as the best. I think I'm the best. So, let's just make these.
Another fan commented on X saying, "Yes, that's true. Fury is a hater. He thinks that by speaking politely and slowly, people will not notice what is going on," which added more criticism inside the boxing community. At the same time, Fundora says his success comes from hard work and preparation. He explained that he trained seriously from August, and that strong preparation helped him deliver such a powerful performance against Keith Thurman in the ring.
Happy with my performance, of course. I think it was a great performance. Just a lot of training in this camp. We've been training for him since August of last year. So, it was unfortunate that we couldn't fight in October, but we stay training, we stay getting ready for this former Hall of Famer and show tonight. I take my hat off to Keith. Of course, he's a great former champion. Like I said, a future Hall of Famer for sure. But no, we trained very hard for this fight, and we made sure that we crossed our T's and dotted our I's, so that performance from him wouldn't be nothing crazy for us to handle. I'm very comfortable with the WBC. I've been saying this over and over again. I'll fight these guys. I'll unify with these guys, but I'll probably drop the belt right after.
Boxer Bernie criticized Fundora's decision-making, saying that he should have fought a different opponent. According to Bernie, there were many other available options, and he believes Fundora carefully chose this matchup instead.
But before we go too crazy, remember the guys that he's beaten recently. He beat Costas, he beat, what's his name, Zoo. He beat Zoo, who he had beaten once before in a controversial fight where Zoo was bleeding very badly. And before he fought him in a rematch, Zoo had been knocked out. So he beats Zoo, and then he beats, Thurman, who's been very inactive, moved up in weight, and was a huge underdog for those reasons. So let him beat somebody maybe a little bit of a higher level of thought before you go too crazy.
The cheating accusations around Sebastian Fundora are not new. Boxing analyst Teddy Atlas reminded fans about Fundora's earlier fight against Tim Tszyu. In that fight, Tszyu suffered a serious head injury that affected his vision. At that time as well, some people questioned whether Fundora's gloves or fighting methods were responsible.
To be honest, I already kind of knew that, Fundora is super young right now, super tall, and Keith Thurman, at the end of the day, he was a great fighter, he was a good fighter, but he had a lot of tough fights, but, I thought Keith was going to give him a little bit of trouble, and take him to deep waters and test him a little bit. But, when Fundora threw the right hand the first time, he kind of got him, and, that's when like, oh, man, Fundora, I think it's too much for him. Fundora looked really good. He used his distance, his body shots, and straight punches and everything. I think, in my opinion, he looked really good. And Keith Thurman, he tried. And it was a great stoppage, in my opinion. It's good. When they stopped the fight and I saw his face, I was like, damn, it was a good stoppage.
Jose Benavidez Sr. also commented on Fundora's TKO win over Keith Thurman. He pointed out Fundora's youth and his huge height advantage. He also argued that Thurman's long break from boxing and his current condition made this matchup unfair, showing a clear imbalance between both fighters.
He throws a rear uppercut from long range. He throws a lead uppercut from mid range. So he's a wildly dangerous puzzle to figure out. And Keith had no answer. And I guess in hindsight, that's probably not that surprising. Keith was not a 54-pounder. But yeah, it was underwhelming, I should say.
I expected a little more from Keith. Talks the big game, had that illustrious run at 147, but ultimately, like I said, Father Time over one time. Father Time gets everybody, he just looks slow, the legs weren't there, and also you're fighting a guy, like you said, with the 80-inch reach, and also knows how to use it now. That's what we're seeing from Fundora, is first couple of fights of his career when he was fighting.
A boxing fan posted on X, calling it a ruthless mismatch before the fight even started, and said it became even worse during the actual bout. This reflects growing frustration among fans about how one-sided the fight looked. Chris Algieri also analyzed Sebastian Fundora's TKO win over Keith Thurman in detail. He highlighted Fundora's rare ability to land short uppercuts even from long distance, describing him as a very difficult puzzle that Thurman could not solve. Algieri also pointed out Thurman's decline, mentioning his long periods of inactivity, slower movement, and struggle to deal with Fundora's 80-inch reach. He recalled that early in his career, Fundora looked awkward and uncoordinated, but now he has developed into a confident fighter who uses his jab effectively, throwing 44 jabs per round in this fight. Algieri further explained that Fundora did not even need to change his strategy much. He mainly stayed behind his jab and landed clean power shots consistently until the referee stopped the fight.
The second Zoo fight is where I think now Fundora can settle in now, and this is like what he's going to be. He's going to be a guy that pumps his jab. He's going to be a guy that throws power shots and lands power shots. I mean, his jab was really impressive. He threw 44 jabs per round in this fight. We're talking about a guy that never used to throw the jab. We always wondered, why does he fight on the inside when he has a bajillion-inch reach advantage over his opponents? But he's now settling in, and he started with the jab, and then he didn't even get out of first gear. Like, did you see? I didn't see Fundora exert any extra energy in this fight. He stuck behind his jab and threw short, concise power shots and just kept finding a home for them until the fight was ultimately stopped. I think Fundora is really coming into his own, but we got to see him now with an elite